This is Hannibal back here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube. I am going to do a quick review of a WWE Vault match that was just posted, I guess, to build for the return of Saturday night's main event. They posted a classic Saturday night's main event match of Hogan and Warrior against Mr. Perfect and my old friend, the Genius, Leaping Lanny Poffo from a 1990 Saturday night's main event just before Hogan went on to face Warrior at WrestleMania 6. The Genius famously had the biggest match of his career, as he'd tell you, I drank from the silver chalice of success, when he beat Hulk Hogan via countout on the previous Saturday night main event. Here's the funny thing. Hogan likes to he picks and chooses about when and who he loses to. That was shocking at the time. And he'll always throw out, well, I lost to Kidman, I lost to Lanny Poffo, I lost to Jacques Rougeau, blah, 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 blah. When people say he didn't like to do jobs, Lanny Poffo, let me just say it this way. Lanny Poffo was far from a threat to Hulk Hogan. It's not like he was in any competition of taking his spot or anything. And Hogan did end up losing to Warrior. But I'm just saying, like, it definitely built up to the tag team match. But it was a count out loss, and it was a very safe loss for Hogan. I mean, it didn't affect him, any of the fans' perception of him, and that's not a guy that actually was any threat. And by the way, Lanny ultimately, I did have one phone conversation with Hulk Hogan in my life, and that was thanks to Lanny giving me his number. And I will say this for Hogan at that time, he did talk to me for a good 10 to 15 minutes, and he was nice on the phone at that time. I do call him out for some of his stories. I find them still entertaining. I didn't like some of the stuff that went on between him and superstar Billy Graham. But, I mean, overall, I'm still a fan of Hogan. Just to get that on the record for people to say I hate Hogan. I don't hate him. I watched this match and I liked it. I'll go on the record saying, even though I like The Rock, I actually am a bigger fan of the Hulk Hogan movies than I am of The Rock's movies, just because they bring back good childhood memories. And I'm for some reason really like 80s cheesy movies and early 90s cheesy movies. But let's get into this match. Great promo by Hogan and Warrior before. Great promo. I miss those short, intense, larger-than-life promos. Hogan and Warrior, great characters. Two more great characters, the Genius and Mr. Perfect. You can diss characters all you want. Those characters were over. You believed Lanny was the Genius. You believe Mr. Perfect was just as his character was presented. Gets into the match. When I watched the Ultimate Warrior run down to the ring for this, which he did in about 3 seconds, and McMahon even commented he did that in about 3 seconds. Everyone that hates on the Warrior always likes to insult the energy he put into his ring entrance. And be like, oh, he was exhausted. He was blown up after his matches. It's because he put everything he had into his matches and everything he had into the ring entrance. Watching that ring entrance, AEW can spend $20,000 on a ring entrance with extras, weird special effects, and all this crap. The Warrior still beats it just from his look and running down to the ring, shaking the ropes and all that, running back and forth in the ring. It's just such a high energy match. And then Hogan comes out to his song, which I really like his theme music. Which, funny enough, I can't believe that it used to be Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo's theme music. I wonder like how that whole change came about, where they're like, this is more suited to Hulk Hogan. Let's switch it to Hogan. Because Hogan, well, I mean, I'm sure it had to do with Eye of the Tiger, them having to pay royalties or something, but I'd like to know the whole process of how it got switched. Hogan comes out. You see Mr. Perfect taking great bumps in this match. Lanny really working the quasi-homosexual character that at the time got a lot of heat. Here's where Lanny, I really think, sold himself short. He, in my opinion, deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. If you put Mike Von Erich and Chris Von Erich in the Hall of Fame, Lanny deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Macho Man's always said, I only want to be in the Hall of Fame if they put Lanny and Angelo in at the same time, just like they did the Von Erichs. I mean, Lanny's a memorable character. He's the first guy to do the moonsault. He does do the moonsault in this match. First guy to do the moonsault on like WWE TV. And he was a good talker. He plays his heel homosexual character so well, or quasi-homosexual, because he never went out and said he was, but he acted like he was. But, I mean, I think he sold himself short. He should have held out instead of just taking whatever deal he took to get Macho Man in there. And he said it. He'll always say, I did it for myself. I've never been selfish, but I did it for myself. As far as and I did it for the fans. But honestly, he should have just held out. They would have wanted Macho Man in eventually. The heat was there for them to put Macho Man in. I don't think they're ever going to put Lanny in now. I really don't. I'll be shocked if they do, because there's just not going to be the demand for it. And like, that was his opportunity to hold out. The match itself was good. I mean, the most high-flying thing of the match was Lanny's moonsault, which he does with 1 foot on the second, 1 foot on the third rope. I enjoyed the match. At the end of the match, Perfect and Poffo attack Hogan and Warrior. Hogan accidentally clotheslines the Warrior. And I remember at that time as a kid, it's hard to explain now because people that weren't around at that time weren't bored yet. Hogan and Warrior was like a dream match. And I remember when Hogan accidentally was clotheslined by Warrior, everyone was going nuts. Like, is this match actually going to happen? This match can't happen. It's the two biggest baby faces. It just brought back, it actually makes me sad. I'm glad that WWE has posted this kind of stuff on like the Vault, but it actually makes me sad that wrestling used to be so good. And they told stories so well. And back in those days, they didn't remind you every interview. We love telling stories, blah, 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 blah. We're all about storytelling. And by the way, Hogan and Warrior didn't do interviews outside of wrestling like they do today while their feud is going on. Oh, I love working with Terry. I love working with Jim. We're gonna put some great stuff together in our match. Like they kayfabed it, and it was easy to buy into. And again, I only vaguely remember this match, but it was good. It was a good match. Anyways, guys, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that more than anything recent I've seen by far. And let me know what your memories are of that match in the comments. And by the way, I just did a review of Jesse Ventura's most recent podcast appearance about him coming back to commentate. I don't know if it's going to be one or the whole show. That's still a mystery, but he's coming back to commentate on this upcoming Saturday night main event from the New York area, with that kind of has a lame main event: Kevin Owens against Cody Rhodes, which everyone knows Cody Rhodes is going to win, and Owens is far from the larger than life characters of the past, but people are going to probably tune in to see Jesse. I'm heading off to the gym.